We look at SPM 2017. It is given that sum of the first n term of an arithmetic progressions. This question gives you a specific formula, n over 2, 13 minus 3n. So now the question asks you to find the n term. So basically, the question wants you to find Tn. We have learned about the formula of Tn. The first formula is a plus n minus 1d. Okay, then the second formula for us to find Tn is Sn minus Sn minus 1. First one, we need two informations. One is A, one is D. So can somebody suggest how we're supposed to find the first term here? T1 equals to S1. So which means if we want to find the first term, just put the 1 inside only. So 1 over 2 multiply with 13 minus 3 times 1, you get 5. That is our first term. Okay, now, so in order to find the common difference, we need to find our second term first, right? Because second term minus the first term, it will give you our common difference. How are we supposed to find our second term from here?
Sub the 2.
We substitute the 2. So 2 over 2 bracket 13 minus 3 times 2. So that will give us 7. Do you think the 7 is our second term?
No.
Eh? Why no?
Yes, it's the sum of first two terms.
Yes, because this one is a sum of first two terms. So you must understand T1 plus T2 is equals to S2. 5 plus T2 equals to 7. So in order to find the T2, we have to use 7 minus the 5. Okay, with that, we get our second term already. We can find our common difference, use the 2 minus the 5. Then we get negative 3. After we get our first term and our common difference, then we can apply in the formula already. So Tn is equals to 5 plus n minus 1 multiplied with negative 3. And then we just have to expand it. I get 5 plus negative 3n plus 3. Lastly, I can get my final answer. Tn is equals to negative 3n plus 8. 1 mark will be given once you get your first term and your common difference. Second mark given when you substitute the first term and common difference in the formula. Third mark is your answer. Let us look at the second method. We do not have to know what is the first term. We do not have to know what is the common difference. We just need to substitute the n and the n minus 1 inside. Sn still remain the same. Sn minus 1, I will put in n minus 1 over 2 bracket 13 minus 3 and the n I replace with n minus 1. We have to expand and simplify the whole thing carefully. 13 over 2n minus 3 over 2n square minus n minus 1 over 2 bracket. Okay, here I expand it. 13 plus 3 is 16 minus 3n. Now I expand the whole thing. 13 over 2n minus 3 over 2n square. Okay, this one I multiply with 16 first. So I get negative 8n minus 1. This whole thing I multiply with negative 3n. So negative become positive. Plus 3n, n minus 1 over 2. Okay, now let us simplify the whole thing here. 13 over 2n minus 3 over 2n square minus 8n plus 8 plus 3 over 2n square minus 3 over 2n, right? So let us see. Negative 3 over 2n square and positive 3 over 2n square cancel off. And then this 13 over 2n minus 8n minus 3 over 2n, let us count. So negative 3n. So lastly, I have plus 8. So with that, I get the same answer as the first method, negative 3n plus 8. First mark will be given once you substitute n minus 1 inside the formula. Second mark is given once you show Sn minus Sn minus 1. Third mark, of course, is your final answer after you simplify the whole thing. Which method is easier for you? First one. For those who use the first one, many of your students, they make mistake because of T2. They will assume the S2 as T2, but it's actually not T2. Okay, for those who use the second method, the only problem is they will make mistake when they try to simplify the whole thing. Alright, so let me show you the next example. We look at SPM 2018. The sum of first n term of an arithmetic progression is given by 3n bracket n minus 33 over 2. How to find sum of first 10 terms?
Sub the n with 10.
Sub the n with 10. Yes, so I will get as 10. 3 times 10 times 10 minus 33 over 2. So I get negative 345, 1 mark. They want you to find the first term and the common difference. How to find the first term? Substitute
1.
Substitute the 1 inside the n, so we get S1. So remember that T1 is equal to S1. So 3 times 1 times 1 minus 33 over 2, we get negative 48. We will get 1 mark. Okay, now we want to find common difference. What should I do next?
S2.
Yes, we find the S2 first. So we substitute the 2 inside the n. So I get S2 is equal to 3 times 2 times 2 minus 33 over 2. And I get negative 93. S2 is different than T2. How to get T2?
S2 minus S1.
Yes, correct. So negative 93 minus negative 48. So for those who cannot really understand the formula, you can write down T1 plus T2 is equals to S2. Okay, then after that, you can fill in the value one by one. T1 is negative 48, T2 you want to find, and S2 you have found it, which is negative 93. And from here you can see, if you want to find T2, we have to move the negative 48 to the other side. Then you will get T2 is equals to negative 93 plus 48. So it is the same as what we found here. So with that, we get our second term. Okay, what next?
T2 minus T1.
T2 minus T1 will give us the common difference. So we use negative 45 minus negative 48, we get 3. So once you show that T2 minus T1, you get 1 mark, and 1 mark is for your common difference. Now, let us have a look on question C. Find the value of Q. Given that Q term is the first positive term of the progression, this progression started with negative value, right? The terms will increase by 3 every time. Eventually, it will become positive at certain moment. Which term is the first positive term? What can we do here?
Tn more than 0.
Yes, for certain term, it must be a positive value, but we don't know which term is that, right? We label that as Tn. So that Tn, it must be a positive value, so more than 0. So that is our starting step. And from here, we must know also the formula for Tn is A plus n minus 1d. Put in negative 48 plus 8 minus 1 times 3 is more than 0. So from here, we can solve it easily. Okay, we just expand and then we just move it to the other side. You're supposed to get n is more than 17. What is the n?
18.
18, yes, that is the nearest value, which is more than 17, right? So with that, we know that our Q is 18. 1 mark is given when you apply the formula. 1 mark is given when you get the Q. Is there any easier way for you to solve this? The starting value is negative 48. So if you plus 3 every term, you will get a positive value at certain moment. You can start list down from negative 48, negative 45, negative 42. You will stop at 3, which is the first positive term. Then you just have to count it. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18 terms. Our answer is 18. List down completely will give you 1 mark. Let us look at SPM 2014. You are given the sum of the first n term, Sn, and this time is a geometric progression. And the formula given here is 5 over 2, 3 to the power of n minus 1. The question is, find the first term and find the common ratio. How am I supposed to find the first term?
Sub n equals to 1.
Substitute the 1 inside. T1 equals to S1. 5 over 2, 3 to the power of 1 minus 1. So we get 5. We get our first term. That will give you the first mark. Okay, how to find common ratio? What is the first step?
Find S2.
Find S2. So we put the 2 inside. So S2 equals to 5 over 2 times 3 to the power of 2 minus 1. So that will give us 20. Next.
Find T2.
Find the second term. Always remember the concept T1 plus T2 is equals to S2. This concept we can use for AP and GP. Yeah? So T1 is 5. T2 we want to find. S2 is, we know that to find T2. So we use 20 minus the 5. With that we get our T2, 15. Next.
T2 over T1.
Yes, so we use 15 divided by 5. Then we get the common ratio. So the second mark is given once you show T2 over T1. The third mark is your final answer for R.